Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time to meet our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County. Powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio. Streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center, with the man who's always in the middle of it here, John Gutierrez. Hey, John.
Hey, everybody. Welcome again to our community podcast show powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Paul, and OC Talk Radio for having us. We have a special guest today here. She's the CEO of the Girl Scouts of Orange County, a lifetime Girl Scout, and of course, one of our superstar members of our Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Vikki Shepp. Thank you for being here, Vikki. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for this opportunity, John. We're so excited to be able to share a little bit more about Girl Scouts with the community.
Well, first and foremost, I got to say that we've been talking here, and I grew up in Santa Ana, and it's beautiful to hear so much that you're doing in Santa Ana and how much you've been helping the community there, right?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we have a pretty long history actually in Santa Ana of delivering Girl Scout program and then working with the community to have volunteer-led Girl Scouting take place. So we're very proud of the work that we've done, and we know we have more work to do. So happy to be able to talk about that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you for all that community work that you guys do. Tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind. We usually like to learn about our guests here, and then we'll go into all the fun Girl Scout, of course, history, but share with us a little bit about you.
Sure. I'm happy to share a little bit. I am an Orange County girl. I grew up in Orange County, did my Girl Scouting experience here. I'm a proud Oiler from Huntington Beach High School. And it was just such an honor to be named the CEO of the Girl Scout Council, where I had such a fabulous experience. So now being on staff for 15 years, this is my 5th year as CEO. I'm just excited to be able to continue to make an impact and to give back to the organization that did so much for me growing up.
Wow. And what are some of your hobbies? What do you like to do for fun? What do you enjoy? Let's let the crowd know here.
Sure.
A little bit about you, if you don't mind.
So it's funny that you say hobbies. Right now, I'm a doctoral candidate at USC. So one of my hobbies,
Congratulations.
thank you. One of my hobbies right now is writing. I actually do like to write. So I do find some free time to do the other things that I love. I'm a water baby. I grew up swimming. I was a competitive swimmer. Still, anytime I can jump in the water, and especially snorkel or scuba dive, I'm happy. Avid hiker, and I'm also an artist. And so whenever I feel a little stressed out, doing some artwork helps. So those are a few things about me. And you know, I'm kind of a Renaissance woman. I love to do a lot of different things. So throw me an activity and I'll give it a shot. I think that's my Girl Scout background. The only thing I don't do is sing, which is such an iconic Girl Scout thing, but I have a terrible singing voice. So
Well, I mean, that's you and I both. I always told my mom, I wish I could sing like my dad used to sing, but we can't do it all, right?
Yeah, I'll stick with what I know.
So tell us a bit about the Girl Scouts. I know that everybody knows the famous, delicious cookies we were just talking about. And thank you, by the way, for bringing us some cookies.
Of course.
They're so delicious. But what is it about the Girl Scouts that people don't know, that people don't realize? Because obviously everybody knows the Girl Scout cookies as an American apple pie, right? So tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Sure. So Girl Scouts has been around for 110 years. So we have a very long history of developing girl leaders. And of course, everybody knows, or almost everybody knows, about the cookie program, which is a great entrepreneurship program. And we have what we call program pillars. So entrepreneurship is one. STEM is another one. The outdoor and life skills. And a lot of people don't know that we have such a broad assortment of activities for girls to try. Mm-hmm. And also that we're for all girls of all ages. So girls from kindergarten all the way through high school can be girl members, and then adults can join to become members and volunteers. So we are for all girls. I think there is or has been an impression that we might be for a niche set of girls, that's only for some girls, but absolutely we're for all girls and all ages. A lot of times people say, oh, well, I'm in high school, I can't be a Girl Scout. No, you can. I mean, I was a Girl Scout all the way through. Mm-hmm. And back then we had a little bit of program for older girls. And now, I mean, our older girls, they're traveling the world. I mean, I just saw a group of girls that are headed to one of our world centers in Switzerland, and another group's in Costa Rica. So we have our older girls doing that. They're interacting with CEOs in the community through being a part of our board of directors. There's a great, rich older girl program and this wide variety of things that we do. Our girls up at Camp Sherman, which is the camp that I went to up near Idlewild,
Nice.
they're axe throwing. I mean, they're out there
Really?
doing, yeah. I
What?
tried it.
That is so cool.
It's cool. It's also kind of hard.
I've never done that, but I've seen lots of videos.
Yeah, so our girls are doing everything from axe throwing to building Lego robots, coding. They're learning how to be
Wow.
allies to friends in the community. They're learning how to deal with relationships. I mean, we have something for every girl, literally every girl.
And this is why it's so important for people to support the Girl Scouts and donate, because of all the different services and programs you offer, right?
Oh, absolutely. We are a nonprofit. That's another myth. Sometimes
It's so
people
important
don't.
we share that.
Yeah,
Yes.
and yes, cookies are one way that girls fuel their program.
Yes.
So that all the cookie proceeds in Orange County stay in Orange County. The troops get some. We use it to put on our great programming, but we really also rely on charitable contributions
Yes.
because we want to be able to make sure that every girl has that opportunity. And 95-ish% of our program is delivered by volunteers. But we also have staff to pay to make sure that the volunteers are background screened and trained, and that we have lights in our building and those types of things. And we are paying some staff to deliver programs where there's a community or a group of girls who don't have volunteers available for whatever reason.
Yes.
So absolutely.
It's a great mentorship program, right? Would you say?
Oh, yes. I do think we don't use that word enough, because that is really what happens. These girls develop relationships with non-parent adults, and that we know is proven to be a key for success for a girl. So the more non-parent adult relationships, caring adults they have, there's data that shows that that girl is more successful. They're also getting career exploration. So even if their troop leader is not a scientist, for example, they can have an experience where they're going to one of our program partners and learning what does a scientist do, or one of our events where we have career exploration and they're learning how what the career path of an FBI agent is. So they're able to connect with different women and men to find out, what they need to do and how to prepare for their own success in life. So there's a lot of mentorship and workforce development.
That is awesome, because I noticed here you have a volunteer conference, August 6th. Would you like to elaborate on that? Because we just talked about volunteering, mentorship. I think that's important we talk about that, right?
Yes, and our volunteer conference is back in person, which is great. And it offers our volunteers the opportunity to gather and share best practices, and then also to hear from experts. So we do have people who are coming in and talking about the topics that are important to the volunteers so that they can deliver the program successfully. It could be anything from how to talk about a sensitive topic or how to deliver a particular program, but then also how they can grow as a leader and be able to serve their girls. And so we have
A lot of life skills.
right?
Business
Again,
skills.
for the volunteers as much as the girls. That's another
Yes.
secret sauce.
Yes.
We are in the business of building girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. But we also know that the adults who get involved, the volunteers who get involved, end up with resume building skills, life skills of their own. I've seen volunteers change careers because of what's happened with their volunteer experience, and they're developing great friendships too. So that's the other thing that the volunteer conference offers.
Now there's a Voice for Girls on May 5th also. What is that about? Can you
So-
share with everybody about that?
Yes, Voice for Girls, which we did have in May of this year as
Oh,
well.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
May.
no, and it's coming up next year
Next
in
year,
May.
okay.
Yeah, so we have it every May. It is our advocacy event. So we do accept sponsors, and I'd be remiss if I didn't say that. But it's not
Yes.
necessarily about fundraising. It's taking an issue that's important to women and girls and then meeting with community leaders, education leaders, business leaders, our donors, and talking about that issue and how that impacts our girls, of course. But then it gives those community members the opportunity to think about the topic. We just talked about the big gender recession, of the women opting out of careers, or how the pandemic has kind of affected gender equity. And those business folks who joined, or the community folks, maybe politicians, we had some there, as well as educators, were able to then go back to their organization and say, hey, this is impacting our girls, it's impacting the women who work with us. What can we do as an organization to address this issue? We haven't selected a topic for 2023, but it's always a topic that impacts our girls, and the folks who participate get to hear from our girls. We actually have our girls talking about how that particular topic impacts them.
That's interesting you talk about that, because we were both talking before the show about healthcare, and we were talking about, of course, a lot of nurses, which a lot of them are female. I mean, there's such a huge percentage of nurses. Of course, there's males too, but there's a lot of big percentage of females,
right,
and the burnout in healthcare after this whole pandemic. So I would imagine these are some great topics that the Girl Scouts are touching bases on at some of these conferences, right? Because
yes,
I can imagine how many nurses used to be Girl Scouts or are Girl Scouts, right? I mean, the connection there is probably huge.
Right. And we know that there's about 50% of adult women who were Girl Scouts, or at one point. Some they'll say, "Oh, well, I was a brownie." That's still a Girl Scout. So, those women. And I find when I'm in a room of women who are in fields that are entrepreneur or caregiving, education, that number seems to go up. It seems like Girl Scouts builds that skill set for women going into those industries.
So the other part of Girl Scouts' mission is to make the world a better place. How do Girl Scouts do that both locally and in a bigger scale?
Such an important part of our mission, and it has been for 110 years. I did service projects and did my first class, which is the Gold Project. And our girls learn that from the very first level. So Daisy Girl Scouts are kinder and first, and they start to look at an issue in their community. It's usually something very local. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes it might have to do with an animal shelter or something like that. So they start to look and see, how can we as 5-6-year-old girls make a difference? Then as they go through, girls start to tackle bigger issues. Our highest awards, Girl Scout Bronze, Silver, and Gold Awards, are opportunities for our girls to really look at an issue and say, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for our community? And importantly, they tackle it in a project management kind of way of, what's the root cause? How do we make change? By the time our Girl Scouts are doing their Gold Award projects, they are tackling huge issues at the root cause and creating sustainable change. So we have girls who, we had one girl who looked at the car repair industry and saw that women were treated differently. So she created a program for girls to learn about the car industry, what's it like to be a female mechanic, what they should be looking at, created a whole program that even once she goes off to college, that program gets sustained. Mm-hmm. We have other girls who are addressing environmental issues, equity issues. Mm-hmm. We've had girls look at other crises. We've had girls work with Stop the Bleed, because we know that girls and are looking at the issues of what's happening in high schools and saying, if there's something that happens, if I'm the person where somebody's bleeding, what do I do in that kind of an environment? That can be an emergency. Unfortunately, that could be an active shooter situation. So our older girls are really taking these issues and just tackling them with such power. And sometimes that's on a national scale. I mean, sometimes that's on an international scale. We've had projects in Cambodia, in the Philippines, in India. So our girls are really making a difference in the world.
Well, that goes to your point you made earlier, the Girl Scouts mission, which is to build girls of courage, confidence, and character. Can you expand upon what that means and why it's so important?
I'm going to start with why it's important. It is important because that's what, not just Orange County and not just California, not just the United States, that's what the world needs, right? We need people who are able to step up, to use their voice, to create the type of change that we need in the world. And we really work also on developing that confidence. The cookie program, has this ability to take a shy girl who's standing behind her leader, her mom or her dad, who won't talk to a stranger, and help them develop the confidence to be able to say, hey, John, will you buy cookies? Or Mr., will you buy cookies?
Yes.
And then to have an interaction, or to be able to, if you say no, to be able to be gracious and understand and be confident that just that one no doesn't mean no always. But
Yes.
how to do that. And then, of course, character building. I mean, to be able to be a person of character, to look at the Girl Scout promise and law, which is the way that we live, to being honest and fair and respectful and making the world a better place and being a sister to every Girl Scout, taking all of that and living that type of life, those are the people you want to employ. Those are the people you want as your friends. Those are the people you want living down the street from you. So this mission statement is not just about words on a page, but it's about what we want every girl who gets to experience the program to walk out, at high school graduating and being able to be that person of courage, confidence, and character.
That's great to hear that in Orange County. It's on a national level, but also in Orange County, we're building this. I know your building's right down the street from here, right? In Irvine.
It is, yes. We're over kind of near the Spectrum, and
in case people didn't know that, it's important we let people know,
we,
right?
We do. We have I call it base camp, but it's a headquarters office with Girl Scout shop. So if you want your T-shirts or your things that you want to
now, can
show
people
up,
just come
sure.
by there?
Yeah, we have an open lobby.
Okay.
And we also are out in the community. So we have program centers in Seal Beach, Laguna Beach, Anaheim, Yorba Linda, where we have activity centers in the shops in Mission Viejo and the Brea Mall. And as we talked about, we're also looking for a place in Santa Ana to be present. So we want to be in the community as well. We think it's really important that we represent every zip code. So we have membership, nearly 15,000 girls, every zip code of Orange County. And so we really need to be where the girls are and where the volunteers are. And so our team, our staff is out in the field. You won't find a lot of people at the Toledo address, but in Irvine, but you will see us out, hopefully, in the community.
So where do you see the Girl Scouts organization in the next 5 to 10 years? What could you share with us that is evolving, growing? Where do we see it?
Well, growing for sure. And I am so passionate about our All Girl initiative. So right before the pandemic, I worked with the board and with my executive team to create this initiative where every girl gets the opportunity. So that may mean a girl whose first language is not English. That may mean a girl whose family is in transitional housing. That may mean a girl who doesn't have a mom. So we're partnering with Big Brothers Big Sisters, with some of the housing authorities, with different community members with different languages. It also means a girl who might have a learning disability or might have a physical difference or a neurocognitive difference, so that girl could be in a troop, even with a volunteer-led troop leadership, and that troop leader is empowered to know how to lead this diverse group of girls. So this all-girl initiative really is saying, where we do some things really, really well, and we have really strong volunteer-led communities, and I mean, we can't do our work without the volunteers, but then there's also these places where we need to bolster through some staff-led programs, through partnerships, Big Brothers Big Sisters, through some of the other agencies, some of the after-school agencies, the Boys and Girls Clubs, where the girls are who need us and who might not even know who we are or might not think, hey, that's for me. So we're really committed to that. So in 5 to 10 years, yes, I still want to say we're in every zip code, but I also really want us to take a look at those places and to say we are really well represented now in some of the places maybe we aren't today, in some of the communities who maybe don't have a history of Girl Scouting.
And the reason why this is so important, folks, is there's always a dad or a mom out there, right, who maybe they're never been exposed to the such great organization. And so what would you say to them listening right now if they've never been part of Girl Scouts? How do they join? What do you recommend for a first-time person that has a daughter? Because we all know Hispanic males are very strict with their daughters, right?
Yes.
And so how does a dad say, you know what, I want to take my daughter to the center down in this city or that city? What do you advise them? What do you suggest?
Well, I would say to the parents of any girl, if you want your daughter to be successful and to be able to lead a fulfilling life, and that's going to look different for different girls.
Exactly.
You know, so that could mean that she leads her family life. That could mean that she leads, you know, a Fortune 500 company. Whatever it is that you want your daughter to be successful with, every parent wants that for their child, right? They want them to be healthy. They want them to be successful, happy. They want them to have good relationships. If that's what you want for your daughter, and if you want your daughter to have a better chance at scholarships, a better opportunity to get into higher ed, then Girl Scouting is for you. And pretty much most parents get that. I think what we've learned by working with our Hispanic community is that it's a relationship. And once dad and mom know that we will take care of your daughter the same way that you or auntie or
Yes.
abuelita would, that we're going to do that in the same caring way. We are so committed to the safety of our girls. I mean, one of our biggest successes, I have to say, is first generation girls going up to Camp Sherman. I know that's a big deal for the Hispanic community.
Share with us more about that. That's good to know.
So we have girls who go up to Camp Sherman away for a week. You know, they get on the bus and they go. And
It's hard to see them go, right?
Yeah, you know, and I've seen the parents the first year they cry. The next year they're like, good, go, have a good week. But I think that's one of my proudest accomplishments is when we have those girls coming from communities where that's not the norm.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I grew up with sleepovers.
Yeah.
I have friends who never got to do a sleepover because that was not, you know, that was not acceptable. But
is it a weekend or is it a week?
So we have both. We have weekend camps and we have week sleepaway camps.
Okay.
And the weekend camp is great because you could go. You could take dad, and we have dad or me and my guy, so it doesn't have to be dad. It could be an uncle or a grandpa or whoever. Can go up and see the camp and see what that's about. But we also have where you send them up on a bus.
Yes.
And I think that's the success story, is knowing that we are trusted enough that the family trusts us with their precious daughter, you know, and that's true for every community. But you're right. I mean, I think that there is something about
the fear
the
factor.
Latino dad,
the dad,
right. And we had an event on Sunday, and one of our girls, Jessica, who her family is Hispanic, and that dad was so proud. And I think that's the other thing. I think some of our proudest dads are Latino fathers who, once they're in, man, they're in, and they're also good champions for us, because I do know how there's a dynamic of making that decision of what do we do with our daughter. You know, it's not about resources. It's not about that. I mean, we can take care of all that, but it's making sure that the family trusts us and knows that we have your girl's best interest. And that's when I'm very proud, when a family says that, you know, like, yeah, go ahead. We're good. So,
well, the producer's giving me the 5 minutes, and we got to make some announcements. I know it goes by so fast. I wish we could push it for an hour. You know, Vikki Shepp, thank you so much. The CEO of Girl Scouts of Orange County, a lifetime Girl Scout, and of course, one of our superstar members here at the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. There's a volunteer conference, right, coming up August 6th.
Correct. Yes.
Definitely go to social media websites, right?
Yes, and the one thing I didn't say is to join. Our website is very easy.
Okay.
It's girlscoutsoc.org, and also we do have phone numbers. They're all on the website.
Yes.
And that's another way to talk to our membership. And we are in the schools as well. So there's places to find us.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us. We really appreciate all you're doing in the community, obviously helping raise a lot of great community leaders, right? And so thank you for your service, and we'll be doing our best to spread the word, especially with our Hispanic business leaders, parents that maybe haven't learned what Girl Scouts is, right? And this is a great opportunity for us to share all the insights. Real quickly, I just want to plug in, visit our website at ochcc.org for more questions regarding all these programs. We also have an amazing job board there, and we do have our August golf tournament charity fundraiser that we do every year. So anybody listening, let us know if you're interested in being a part of that. And again, thank you so much for being here, Vikki, and we appreciate all you do in the community.
Thank you so much. Thanks for this opportunity. You know, I could talk forever, so.
Well, we'll
anytime.
have you back again
Thank
when you're
you.
having some more events, and definitely look to support you. And again, folks, thank you for listening. We appreciate you listening to our community podcast show, where our community is your community.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another great reason why you got to tune in each and every week to meet our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County. Powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio. Streaming live from our studios here at the University of California Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center.